Most men over the age of 50 have heard the exact same advice on repeat for their entire adult lives. Drink 8 glasses of water every single day. Keep your body properly hydrated. Protect your long-term health. And for decades, they have believed it without question. They went out and purchased the oversized reusable bottles. They programmed their phones with hourly reminders. They followed the instructions precisely. They did absolutely everything they were told to do. But here is the critical piece of information that no one ever bothered to share with them. If you are past 50 and you are still consuming plain water, just standard water with absolutely nothing added to it, you are leaving one of the most straightforward and profoundly effective opportunities completely untapped. An opportunity to revive your energy, to restore your circulation, and to bring back the drive that has quietly been fading without you even noticing. Now, do not misunderstand me. Water is not the problem. Water is absolutely vital to survival. The issue is that once you cross the 50-year mark, your body starts demanding something more, something highly specific, something that ordinary water, in its plainest form, simply cannot provide on its own. And once I walk you through exactly what that missing piece is, I can guarantee you will never again look at your morning glass of water in the same casual way. Before we dive into the details, please do me a quick and simple favor. Hit that like button right now if you are genuinely committed to taking full control of your health with your own two hands. Drop a comment down below and let me know where in the world you are tuning in from. I sincerely love seeing men from every corner of the globe stepping up and showing up for their own well-being. And if you have not yet clicked that subscribe button, please go ahead and do that right now. What I am about to reveal to you has the potential to completely transform how your body feels on a daily basis. My name is Dr. Mandell. I am a board-certified physician with 12 solid years of hands-on clinical practice behind me, and I have dedicated a significant portion of my professional career to working specifically with men over 50 who walk into my office repeating the exact same frustrating complaints. I do not understand what happened to my energy levels. I used to feel mentally sharp and quick. Now I feel like I am running on fumes constantly. I am doing everything by the book, and yet nothing is producing results. And almost every single time, when we start digging into the biological reality of what is actually occurring inside their bodies, we uncover the same underlying culprit, a molecule called nitric oxide, and the brutal fact that their systems have quietly stopped manufacturing enough of it. Let me explain precisely what nitric oxide does and why it matters more than nearly anything else in your body once you hit 50. Nitric oxide is the critical signaling molecule that controls the relaxation of your blood vessels. When your nitric oxide levels are in a healthy range, your blood vessels open up with ease, your circulation moves freely and efficiently, and your heart, your brain, your muscles, literally every single system throughout your entire body receives the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function at peak performance. You wake up in the morning feeling energized and ready. You think with clarity and speed. You feel fully capable. You feel like your genuine self. However, here is where the serious problem arises. Beginning around age 40 and accelerating at a much faster pace after 50, your body's natural ability to produce nitric oxide starts a steady and significant decline. By the time most men reach their 60s, their nitric oxide production can plummet to less than half of what it was back in their 30s. Half. And the vast majority of them have absolutely no awareness that this decline is even happening inside their own bodies. Biologically speaking, what this decline means in practical terms is that your blood vessels gradually grow stiffer and more constricted over time. Your heart is forced to work considerably harder just to push blood through a system that no longer cooperates the way it once did during your younger years. Your muscles receive less oxygen during any form of physical activity, which means they fatigue at a much faster rate. Your brain receives a diminished supply of blood, so your cognitive processing slows down noticeably. Your recovery time after any kind of physical exertion stretches out much longer than it used to in the past. Emotionally, the impact is absolutely devastating, even though most men never make the connection between these feelings and this specific biological cause. That vague but persistent sense of being slower than you once were. That quiet, gradual erosion of your self-confidence. That frustrating feeling of watching your vitality disappear and having no explanation for why, even though you are eating relatively well, sleeping decently, and putting in your best effort. Practically speaking, it means that your everyday life feels significantly harder than it should. That dreaded afternoon energy crash strikes earlier and harder every day. The motivation to get up and tackle things gradually fades a little more with each passing year, and you start accepting this as normal because everyone around you tells you it is simply part of growing older. Let me be absolutely clear. This is not just aging. This is a specific, measurable, and entirely addressable deficiency, and you have the power to start taking corrective action as early as today. Now, plain water hydrates your body properly. That is absolutely critical. Never stop drinking it. But plain water gives your body exactly zero of the raw materials it desperately needs to rebuild its nitric oxide production capacity. Think of your body as a manufacturing facility. Water is what keeps the lights on and the machinery running smoothly, but without the right ingredients arriving at the loading dock, the specific production line responsible for making nitric oxide remains completely idle. The factory is spotless, the equipment is operating, but nothing is actually being produced. What I am going to give you today are the exact ingredients that change that entire dynamic. These are the specific things you can start adding to your water beginning tomorrow morning that will provide your body with exactly what it requires to rebuild the fundamental chemistry of circulation, sustained energy, and lasting vitality. The very first addition you need is beetroot. If there is one single ingredient that every man over 50 should become intimately familiar with, it is beetroot. And I am not talking about those pickled slices you find on a sandwich at a deli. I am referring to concentrated beetroot powder. It is natural, it is potent, and it is one of the most extensively researched circulation boosters available anywhere in the world. Here is why it works so effectively. Beetroot is exceptionally rich in natural nitrates. When you consume those nitrates, your body takes them through a specific conversion process. Nitrates convert into nitrites, and nitrites are then converted into nitric oxide, the exact molecule your blood vessels have been desperately waiting for. What makes this conversion pathway especially valuable for older men is that beetroot's nitrate route largely bypasses the endothelial cells, which are the cells that line your blood vessels and tend to weaken and become increasingly inefficient as you age. So rather than relying on an aging system to produce nitric oxide through the long and difficult route, beetroot offers your body a direct shortcut, a rapid pathway straight to the molecule that relaxes your blood vessels and gets your circulation moving again. Numerous scientific studies have demonstrated that a single serving of beetroot can produce measurable improvements in blood flow within just a few hours. Men who incorporate it into their daily routine consistently report more stable and sustained energy throughout the entire day. This is not the artificial jolt you get from caffeine. This is a real, enduring, biologically grounded improvement. How should you use it? Simply mix 1 to 2 teaspoons of beetroot powder into a large glass of water first thing in the morning. It has a deep, earthy flavor with a touch of natural sweetness. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon to enhance and brighten the taste, and I will explain in just a moment why that lemon is doing far more for you than you might suspect. The second addition is pomegranate. Beetroot gets the nitric oxide flowing, but here is the crucial part that most people completely overlook. Nitric oxide breaks down rapidly, especially in a body that is already contending with inflammation, oxidative stress, or a diet that is less than ideal. You can produce a burst of it and lose it almost simultaneously. That is exactly where pomegranate steps in to save the day. Pomegranate is packed with polyphenols, which are some of the most powerful antioxidant compounds found in any food on the entire planet. These exceptional compounds act as a protective shield around your newly produced nitric oxide, slowing its breakdown and keeping it active and effective in your bloodstream for a much longer period. Think of it this way. Beetroot turns the tap on, releasing the flow. Pomegranate ensures that the water keeps streaming steadily without interruption. Together, these two ingredients create something your body has likely not experienced in years, a consistent, enduring delivery of enhanced circulation. Research has repeatedly shown that regular pomegranate consumption improves blood vessel flexibility, helps reduce elevated blood pressure, and significantly increases the overall availability of nitric oxide. You should add 1 teaspoon of pomegranate powder or 1 tablespoon of pure pomegranate extract to your morning water right alongside your beetroot. The combination produces a rich, deeply colored drink that starts working hard for your cardiovascular system from the very first sip you take. The third addition is L-citrulline. Now we are going one level deeper because there is a second distinct pathway that your body uses to generate nitric oxide, and you can supercharge that route with a single amino acid that the majority of men have never even heard of. It is called L-citrulline, and it is naturally found in abundance in watermelon. Here is how the process works. Your body converts L-citrulline into another amino acid known as L-arginine. And L-arginine is the direct fuel that your cells rely on to manufacture nitric oxide. So citrulline acts essentially as the supply truck that delivers raw materials straight to the production line. What makes L-citrulline vastly superior to taking arginine directly comes down to absorption efficiency. When you take arginine in supplement form, a substantial portion of it gets broken down in your digestive tract before it ever reaches your bloodstream. L-citrulline completely bypasses that problem. It is absorbed with high efficiency, travels to your cells intact, and is converted into arginine right at the exact location where nitric oxide is being produced. The end result is a measurable boost in circulation that powerfully compounds the effects of your beetroot and pomegranate. 3 distinct biological mechanisms, all converging toward the same objective: more nitric oxide, better blood flow, and stronger overall vitality. Add half a teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon of L-citrulline powder to your morning glass. It mixes effortlessly and has a mild, nearly neutral taste that disappears entirely when combined with your other ingredients. There are also several additional boosters that are well worth knowing about. If you want to take this protocol even further, there are a number of other natural additions that work beautifully alongside your core 3. A squeeze of fresh lemon juice, for example. The vitamin C found in lemon actively protects nitric oxide from oxidative breakdown, playing a similar protective role as pomegranate, but through a different biochemical mechanism. It also makes the entire drink taste sharper, brighter, and more refreshing overall. Ginger is another excellent choice. A small amount of ginger powder adds compounds that naturally stimulate nitric oxide production while simultaneously fighting the chronic inflammation that silently damages the walls of your blood vessels over time. Hibiscus powder is another powerful option. Rich in antioxidants, hibiscus helps your blood vessels relax more readily and has been shown in multiple studies to support healthy blood pressure levels. It also gives your morning water a striking and visually appealing deep red hue. Tart cherry is yet another beneficial addition. Tart cherry helps reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, while also supporting muscle recovery and improving your overall sleep quality. Both of these are areas where every man over 50 needs additional support. Cocoa powder can also be included. Use unsweetened cocoa powder, just a small amount. Cocoa flavonols are known to help strengthen blood vessel walls and improve their ability to dilate on demand when needed. It also adds a subtle depth of flavor while providing genuine and proven cardiovascular benefits. You do not need to include all of these every single day. Start with the core 3: beetroot, pomegranate, and L-citrulline. Then gradually build from that foundation based on how your body responds and what you personally enjoy consuming. Now let me lay out your daily plan. Here is how uncomplicated this actually is when you put it into practice. In the morning, within 30 minutes of waking up, simply mix your core ingredients into a large glass of water. 1 to 2 teaspoons of beetroot powder, 1 teaspoon of pomegranate powder, half a teaspoon of L-citrulline powder, and a generous squeeze of fresh lemon. Stir everything thoroughly and drink it down. If you want to save time and prepare ahead, you can mix a dry batch of all the powders together in a sealed jar and store it at room temperature. Then each morning, just take 2 to 3 tablespoons of the pre-mixed blend and stir it into a large glass of water. 10 seconds of effort and you are completely finished. I also recommend considering a second glass in the early afternoon, somewhere around 2 or 3 o'clock, right before that typical energy dip tends to hit. That is precisely when your circulation naturally begins to slow and your mental focus starts to fade. A second serving of your nitric oxide drink at that specific moment is one of the most effective natural interventions I can possibly recommend. The men who achieve the most dramatic and lasting results are not the ones who try this protocol once or twice and then abandon it. They are the ones who build it into their morning routine with the same consistency and automaticity as brushing their teeth. Consistency is what fundamentally alters your biology, not a single dramatic burst of effort, but a quiet, unwavering daily commitment. I want to share with you the story of a patient I will call Raymond. Raymond was 64 years old, recently retired, and came to see me with complaints of persistent and debilitating fatigue, poor circulation in his legs that made walking uncomfortable, and what he described as a pervasive feeling of heaviness, as if he were moving through every single day at only half speed. His blood pressure was elevated to concerning levels. His energy was completely depleted by noon. He had even started declining social invitations from friends and family because he simply did not feel up to attending them. Raymond was diligently drinking his 8 glasses of water every single day. He genuinely believed he was doing everything right. I introduced him to this exact protocol, just the 3 core ingredients added to his morning water. Nothing else in his routine changed. No new prescription medications, the same diet, the same daily walks around his neighborhood, just the morning drink every single day without fail. 6 weeks later, Raymond returned to my office for a follow-up. His blood pressure had dropped noticeably into a much healthier range. His afternoon energy, which used to evaporate by 12:30, was now lasting consistently well past 3 in the afternoon. He told me with visible enthusiasm that he had started accepting social invitations again. He said he finally felt like himself once more. Not a younger version of himself, but his authentic self, fully present, fully capable, and completely engaged with his life. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I cannot believe the answer was sitting in a jar of powder this entire time." That is precisely what this is all about. Your body is not finished. Your blood vessels have not forgotten how to function properly. They are simply not receiving the essential raw materials they need to operate the way they were originally designed to. When you consistently supply those materials every single morning, day after day, the biological response is often faster and more significant than you would ever anticipate. Age is not the end of vitality. It is simply a clear signal that your body requires smarter and more targeted support. And this is one of the simplest, most accessible, and most effective ways to provide exactly that kind of support. If this video has given you something genuinely useful and actionable today, please give it a like. It only takes a single second, and it lets me know that this type of content is worth creating more often for you. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so right now because I share practical, evidence-based health information exactly like this every single week, created specifically for men over 50 who absolutely refuse to accept that decline is an unavoidable part of their future. And please leave a comment down below. Tell me where you are watching from, and tell me which of these ingredients you are going to try first in your morning routine. I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to hear how this protocol works for you in your own life. I am Dr. Mandell, and I will see you right here in the next video. Take good care of yourselves, and take good care of your circulation, because it is taking care of absolutely everything else in your life.